Promising changes is easy, but the true transformation is found in actions, not words. It is an interesting phrase, and especially for this time of year, a new year begins, and many of us are looking forward to everything we want to achieve. But as the phrase says, promise changes. It's easy. We all know that person who starts new habits, but within weeks returns to their toxic and old habits. It could be you who sets a goal. But at the end of the year, you are still the same person with the same bad habits. This video is about how to create deep and lasting changes. How to become definitely in the person you want to be. If you want to star in a supernatural experience this year, regenerate your own body, create unusual opportunities that you had never imagined before, and live mystical and transcendent experiences, you will have to start by familiarizing yourself with the idea of the present moment, the eternal now, which we will talk about. In a few minutes, you will learn why it is difficult to change, what happens in your brain, and how to make real extraordinary changes happen. So watch the video until the end, share with your friends and family on WhatsApp. Take note. Let's begin. We hear a lot of talk lately about presence and the here and now. Although almost everyone roughly understands what these concepts mean, not thinking about the future or living in the past, I propose to offer you a completely different approach. It requires you to transcend the physical world, including your body, your identity, and your environment, and event time itself to achieve quantum results in your life. You must stop living in the past and start living in the present, but I am not referring to the concept of past and present that many people teach. Pay close attention to what I want to tell you, what it means to live in the past, in a way, how to definitively become the person you want to be. A scientist first. Let's review how the brain works every time a neurological tissue is activated in the brain, or in the body. It is to say, from a scientific perspective, the mind is the brain in operation. For example, you use a specific mind to drive, you use another mind to shower, and a different one to sing or listen to music. Each of these functions, or any skill you have learned, has a sequence, a pattern, and a specific combination of neural networks. Those networks are nothing but groups of neurons that work in community, just like an automatic computer program, because you have executed that same action on numerous previous occasions. Each time you're going to perform an activity, your brain automatically uses a neurological pattern that is determined for that area, learning from one point there. From a scientific point of view, it occurs when the brain's neurons are organized into thousands of synaptic connections, and these connections are in turn arranged in complex and three-dimensional neurological networks. Consider learning as an update of your brain. When you experience something new, your senses neurologically write the story. In your brain, and even more neurons come together to create even richer connections, which enriches your brain even more. Now let's look at a second. Experiences not only develop brain circuits but also arouse emotions. Aspect experiences not only develop brain circuits but also arouse emotions. Consider emotions as the chemical vestige of past experiences, or as a chemical reaction. The higher the emotional quotient of an event that occurred in your life, the deeper the imprint that experience leaves on your brain. Thus the memory is formed. Long term, so if learning means creating new connections in the brain, memories arise from maintaining those connections. The more times you repeat a thought, a decision, a behavior, an experience, or an emotion, the more neurons are activated and connected, and the longer they will prolong their long-term relationships. In the long term, the brain is designed and molded to become a living document of everything you have learned and experienced up to this point in your life. It follows that the only place the past truly exists is in the brain and body. Why is it important to know this? Human beings are beings of habits and customs. You have just learned that every habit, skill, or custom is registered in the brain in the form of a neurological pattern to which your brain accesses automatically. You learned that thoughts are the language of the brain and emotions are the language of the body. So it's important to know this, because if the cycle formed by thoughts and feelings becomes the state of your being, then your way of being, your habits and your customs belong to the past when you activate and connect the same neural circuits over and over again. Because you got to the same thoughts are you programming your brains, so that you always reproduce identical patterns. In the end, your body becomes our lick made of old thoughts. And over time, it gets used to thinking automatically on all occasions at the same time. If you experience the same emotions over and over again, you are conditioning your body to live in the past. And if you want to take a quantum leap in your life, not being aware of the state of being in which you have lived for many years will be an impediment, since it is the only thing your brain knows. Let's say, as soon as you wake up, you turn off the alarm clock, and lying in bed, you check Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, text messages, emails, and news. Now you really remember who you are, because you have reaffirmed your personality, and you have connected your past present to your personal Ria. And you have connected your past present to your personal reality. You go to the bathroom, you use the toilet, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you get dressed and head to the kitchen, you have a coffee and have breakfast. You might watch the news and check your email again. It's your daily routine. Then you head to work on the route. As long as you get there, you interact with the same colleagues from the previous day. You spend the day carrying out more or less the same tasks as yesterday. When you leave work, you return home. You may spend a moment at the supermarket to buy groceries. Whenever you like to eat so much, you prepare the usual dinner and watch the same television program at the same time, sitting on the same sofa in the living room. Then you prepare for bed, just as you do every night. You brush your teeth with your right hand. Starting with the upper teeth, you curl up on the same side of the bed, you read a little, maybe, and you fall asleep. If you repeat those same routines over and over again, you will become a habit. A habit is a redundant series of thoughts, behaviors, and unconscious emotions that are acquired through repetition. It basically implies that your body has gone on autopilot and is limited to repeating a series of pre-established programs. Over time, the body replaces the mind. You have repeated the same routine so many times that the body automatically knows how to do certain things better than the body. Brain, the conscious mind, you simply go on autopilot and go into unconscious mode, which means you will wake up the next day and be more or less than in every real sense. Your body drags you into the same predictable tomorrow based on what you have done every day. And in the past, you will generate the same thoughts, and then you will make the same decisions that will push you to identical behaviors and create recurring experiences that in turn will produce the same emotions. Over time, that routine becomes a set of neurological networks programmed in the brain that ten. They emotionally condition your body to live in a time that is left behind, and that past becomes your tomorrow. If you were to draw the schedule of a given day from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you could place the outline of yesterday or today. Today, your past, on the space reserved for tomorrow, your future, and they will coincide perfectly. Because in essence, the actions you have carried out today will be the same ones you undertake tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the other, and the other. Let's face, if you follow the same routine that yesterday, it is not risky to say that your future will be very similar to yesterday. Your future is nothing more than a repetition of your history. That is why yesterday is always creating tomorrow, and your life will remain the same. Now, this not only applies to your daily routine, it is the same for you. Your relationships, finances, and health, you repeat the same behaviors without realizing it over and over again. You want to improve in these areas, but your brain doesn't know any other way to do it, so it always induces you to follow the same neurological patterns. How do you then stop your brain from living in the past to create a future and a present more extraordinary, to create definitive results or quantum leaps in your life? What you must do is create a new inner state of being or a new imprint in your brain. You could read about how to improve your finances, relationships, habits, etc. But that change would only be intellectual, your brain later. Over time, it will continue to use the same behavior patterns because it is what makes it spend less energy. That is, when all your energy is fully incorporated into the experiences known as the chronology that we mentioned above, your energy creates more of the same, and your body will continue to your mind to them events of an identical reality. Your energy leaves the present moment to go to the past and the future. Consequently, you have very little energy left to create an unexpected experience in a new timeline, causing only superficial and non-lasting changes in your life, which bear What you should do is focus your attention elsewhere, and that will imply a change of energy, which would involve changing your way of thinking and feeling in the time necessary to make room for something different. If you begin to deposit your attention and your energy in a vision, your body will be able to follow your mind, that new space, and therefore create a new experience of the future. If you focus your attention on an image of yourself or what you specifically want to be and impose its presence by repeating a sequence of thoughts and feelings, your brain and your body will not notice the difference. Imagine your future will transform. Consequently, that means that you can induce your brain and your body to believe that a physical experience has occurred without actually living it. What you focus your attention on and mentally rehearse over and over again not only becomes your biological reality but also determines your future we are talking about. That just as every day you wake up and begin to live under some automatic files that you have inserted in your brain for years, you begin to imagine and feel that new you that you are wanting for your life. See why doing this is powerful and surprising at the same time. Once in a while, in a revolutionary study conducted at the Cleveland Clinic, 10 subjects between the ages of 20 and 35 imagined flexing their biceps with all their might for 5 sessions a week over 12 weeks as the days went by. The researchers, they observed the subjects' brain electrical activity during the sessions and measured their muscle strength. At the end of the study, the subjects' strength had increased by 13.5%. Although they had not used their muscles at all, the improvement lasted 3 months after the conclusion of the experiment. The subjects' brains showed changes identical to those that a real experience would have generated, and this happened because they had programmed their brains for that future. What would happen in your life if every day, once you wake up, you tune in, imagine and feel that you are that person you want to be, instead of first identifying yourself with all the usual thoughts, habits, or fears? What can happen is that after a while, your brain becomes detach yourself from your old self and begin to live according to that new and intense image that you are providing. You will make new and better decisions. You will see new opportunities that were probably there but you could not see because of your automatic and old mental patterns. As you begin to create a new state of being between your personality, your identity, and your biology begin to change, and that is when lasting changes occur. Help us inspire more people. Share this information on your WhatsApp or on your Facebook. In an era full of useless information, you and I can be the guiding light someone else to a better destination. So share, subscribe, and comment on what you have learned. We wish you a new year, 2024, full of peace, happiness, and above all, a lot of wisdom. God bless you, and happy holidays.